The Black Ship, Chapter 47 Part 2, The Battle for Dominion. Introduction. The war had been long, brutal, and full of betrayals. Now, as the Black Ship loomed over the battlefield, its shadows stretching across the ruined void of space, humanity stood at the precipice of its most decisive battle yet. The enemy's final gambit. The void of space stretched endlessly, a silent witness to the war that had raged for decades. Broken hulls of ships, both human and alien, drifted like ghosts, testaments to the battles fought and the blood spilled. But now, at the edge of the Sol system, the final confrontation loomed. The Tlath Dominion, humanity's oldest and most ruthless enemy, had arrived with their last, most terrifying weapon, a gravitational annihilator. A device so powerful, it could collapse entire planets into nothingness. Their target was clear: Earth. On the bridge of the Eclipse's wrath, Admiral Soren stood motionless, his cybernetic eyes scanning the incoming fleet. The enemy ships moved like a black tide, their elongated, organic hulls writhing with bioluminescent veins. They weren't just here to win. They were here to erase humanity from existence. Status. Soren's voice was calm, but the tension in the air was suffocating. Enemy fleet approaching firing range, Lieutenant Kale reported. Their primary weapon is charging. We estimate 15 minutes before full activation. 15 minutes. That was all the time they had before Earth was swallowed into an artificial black hole. Soren exhaled. They had known this moment would come. For years, the Dominion had been on the back foot, pushed out of human space, their armadas shattered. But the enemy was never one to accept defeat. And now, with nothing left to lose, they had unleashed their final gambit. But humanity had one last ace of its own. Deploy the Black Ship, Soren ordered. The Black Ship awakens. The Dominion fleet shifted as a tear in space ripped open before them. From the breach, the Black Ship emerged, a vessel unlike anything known to man or alien. Its structure was almost impossible, with shifting, fluid geometry that seemed to break the laws of physics. No one knew its true origins. Some believed it was an ancient artifact. Others thought it was humanity's own creation, forged in desperation. But what mattered now was its power. The moment it entered the battlefield, the stars themselves seemed to tremble. A pulse of dark energy erupted from the ship's hull, distorting reality itself. Dominion vessels that came too close buckled and imploded, their hulls crushed by unseen forces. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was something far worse. A force of nature. The Dominion responded, unleashing a torrent of energy lances and plasma bombardments. But the Black Ship didn't move like other vessels. It shifted, disappearing from one location and reappearing in another. It bent light, erased gravity, and unraveled matter as it advanced toward the heart of the enemy formation. But even this wouldn't be enough. The infiltration mission. The gravitational annihilator had to be stopped before it fired. That meant someone had to go in directly inside the Dominion's flagship to disable it. Captain Elias Wren and his strike team were already en route. Their stealth shuttles, hidden beneath the chaos of battle, slipped past enemy defenses and latched onto the hull of the massive warship. The moment the airlock sealed, the real fight began. The corridors of the Dominion ship were alive, not metal, but pulsating, organic walls that breathed. The air was thick with a foul, metallic scent. No gravity, no sound, only darkness. Wren signaled his team forward. Their mission was simple: reach the core, disable the weapon, and get out. But nothing was ever that simple. The Dominion had been waiting. From the shadows, hunters emerged, 7-foot-tall creatures with chitinous armor and blade-like limbs, their movements impossibly fast. The team opened fire, railgun rounds shredding into the first wave of enemies. But for every one they killed, 3 more took its place. Wren activated his exosuit's boosters, slamming into one of the creatures and snapping its spine against the wall. Another soldier went down, their throat torn open by razor-sharp mandibles. No time to mourn. They pushed forward. They reached the core chamber, a vast, cathedral-like space pulsing with unstable energy. In the center, suspended in a field of shifting gravity, was the annihilator's power core. The hum of the weapon grew louder. They were out of time. The High Warden's last stand. Before they could act, the High Warden of the Dominion stepped forward. 10 feet tall, encased in biomechanical armor, its 4 glowing eyes burned with hatred. The warlord had slaughtered entire colonies, left planets in ruins. And now it stood between them and survival. "You are dust," the High Warden growled in its guttural tongue. "And now you will be forgotten." Ren didn't hesitate. He charged, dodging the Warden's first strike. The impact of the alien's weapon shattered the floor behind him. The team opened fire, but the bullets barely dented its armor. Ren knew what he had to do. He reached for his suit's reactor core, a miniature singularity generator. He set it to overload. "You want extinction?" he growled. "Then take it." With a final battle cry, Ren lunged, slamming the reactor into the core of the annihilator. The explosion was instantaneous. A cascade of energy erupted, ripping through the chamber, consuming everything in a blinding storm of white light, victory, and vanishing shadows. The shockwave rippled across the battlefield. The Dominion's flagship collapsed, its structure imploding as the singularity tore it apart. With their superweapon destroyed, the enemy panicked. Their fleet fractured, breaking formation. And then the black ship moved. It pulsed once, twice, and then vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind only a single transmission. The war is not over. Silence fell over the battlefield. Earth was saved. Humanity had won. But as Admiral Soren watched the remains of the battle, he couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was at play. The black ship had done what it needed to, and then it had disappeared, leaving behind more questions than answers.